Welcome back to another episode of Let 'Em Ride. It is Monday, July 1st. We're going to be going over the two-game WNBA slate tonight. We're going to break down and analyze each of those games. We'll talk about which way that I'm leaning as far as the points in the spread. Then any plays that I put in for these games, I will have listed down below in the pinned comment later on. So don't forget to check back in. That way you don't miss out on any of those. And then to recap our picks from Sunday, we did have the Lynx laying 3.5. I was able to catch that one early, about 2 days before the actual tip-off. I saw that line come out and I jumped on it. But it did go up to, they were laying 7 before the game. If you caught it there, you were still good. They gave us an early scare. They went down early quick. But they did come back in the second half. They played a lot stronger, played that stronger Minnesota defense that we expected. And they do end up covering by 8. And then we took the Lynx team total over 85.5. But they failed to score 20 at any point in any quarter. It just was not an offensive display from Minnesota like I was expecting. I thought that they would kind of come in here and beat the brakes off of Chicago. Just not the case. Chicago played them a lot tougher than I was expecting. Like I said, they didn't hit 20 at any point in any quarter in this game. But we did take the Mercury first quarter team total over 22.5, and that does cash for us. Phoenix played lights out there in that first half. I think they were up by 13 going into halftime. But I mean, at one point, they had 17 points in the first quarter, with a little over 5 minutes to play. So this looked like an easy cash. And then they kind of had me sweating there, too, that to get those last 6 points to cash. It took a little more time than I was comfortable with. But we do end up cashing. We finished 2-1 on the night. We are up 9.69 units on the season. We are sitting at a 23-14 overall record. So good start to the WNBA season. Let's keep building on that positivity. Let's cash a little bit more tonight, hopefully, and keep stacking up on those units. So let's get into these picks, guys. And for our first game, we have the Connecticut Sun taking on the Phoenix Mercury in Phoenix. The Sun are laying 3 in that one. The over-under is sitting at 159.5. Now, the Mercury, they have been a different team since the return of BG and Becca Allen. We've talked about that in the previous videos the last couple times they've played. They have since gone 5-3 straight up and 6-2 in the 8 games since they've been back. Phoenix is on the back end of a back-to-back, however. They lost to Indiana yesterday at home in a game that they led by 11 at halftime. They looked really good in the first half. There's just kind of a collapse in the second half. The Mercury were outscored by the Fever by 17 in that second half, and then they were destroyed on the glass in that game. They were out-rebounded by the Fever 42-28. So they are now 6-3 both straight up and against the spread at home. The Sun are just 1-3 in their last 4 games. They have failed to cover in 5 straight games now, after a 13-1 start to the season. They lost to Atlanta on Friday, and the getting doesn't really get any easier from here. After this game with the Mercury in Phoenix, they'll travel to Minnesota to take on the Lynx. They are 6-2 on the road straight up, but they're just 3-5 to the number. There are no major injuries listed right now for either team, although I think we have to keep an eye on this injury report if we plan on putting any bets in on this game. Rebecca Allen was listed as questionable yesterday for the Mercury. This is a back-to-back. The hooper in me, somebody that's been watching ball his whole life, this seems like a spot where, somebody that was listed questionable with a back injury and now we're on a back-to-back, this might be a spot where she sits out. Like I said, I don't see anything listed anywhere. I've searched specifically her name too as well, all over the internet trying to figure out if I could find any information on her. So maybe she's good to go, but I would just, like I said, I would keep an eye on that one before I put any bets in on this game personally. We know the Sun want to slow the game down and use their defense to generate turnovers. They are second in the league in points scored off turnovers. And the Mercury are turning the ball over at the 4th highest rate in the W. The Sun are second in second chance points as well, grabbing the 4th most offensive rebounds while they are giving up the 3rd most offensive rebounds per game. So over their last 5 games, the Sun have fallen off the face of the earth offensively, though. They're averaging only 76 points per game, while ranking 9th in effective field goal percentage, 10th in true shooting percentage, and they are second to last in the W at 11th in offensive rating. That's over their last 5. The Mercury in their last 5 have allowed opponents to shoot just under 75% from the restricted area, but they have held opponents to just 14 such field goal attempts, which is the second fewest in the W. They have been tough defensively moving out of that restricted area and then into the paint and into the mid-range. They're allowing the 3rd and 2nd lowest shooting percentages, respectively, from those areas. But they've been shaky defending the 3, in particular above the break 3s. The Sun, they both attempt and make the 2nd fewest above the break 3s. They attempt the 2nd most field goals from the restricted area, but only convert at the 3rd lowest rate in the W. They have the third highest shooting percentage from outside that restricted area in the paint, but this is where Phoenix has been locking down. The Sun have locked up on the perimeter all season. They're giving up the fewest three-point makes on the second lowest shooting percentage in the league. Over their last 5, though, they have allowed opponents to shoot at the second highest percentage from the restricted area and the third highest percentage from mid-range. The Mercury are hitting from the mid-range at 42%. That is third in the W. They have had a defensive rating of 98.6 in their last 5. That's Phoenix. That's good for third in the W. Situationally, the Sun, they have the rest advantage coming into this one, but this will be their 4th out of 5 road games in 6 games. While Phoenix is on a back-to-back, this is both teams' 3rd game in their last 5 days. And both teams are coming off a loss. Phoenix has played better ball as of late. So, with all that said, I'm going to slightly lean the Mercury here, but I'm not sure that I'll play the side on this one because I feel like this is one of those games where you look at the numbers, you look at the teams, the matchups, and they play different styles of ball, but they're both strong in certain areas where the other team is weak at, right? So, and then situationally looking at it, teams are coming in to pick the side, so I'm going to slightly lean Phoenix, but I'm not sure that this one will make it to the window for me. I'm not sure that I'm going to run and try to put this one in. For the total, I'm leaning under, but I'd be looking at the Sun team total again, that under 80.5. That cashed for us the other day when we put that bet in on this. We did the same exact bet. I think it was Thursday in their last game. And I like it here again as they play at the slowest pace in the league. They've landed under that 81-point total in 9 of their last 13 games. And while the Mercury being on a back-to-back, that could lead to some tired legs, I just don't trust the struggling Sun offense to take advantage if this becomes the case. All right, in our last game, we have the Dallas Wings taking on the Seattle Storm. The Storm are laying 11 in this one with an over-under sitting at 169. This is another one of those many grudge matches that we see throughout the course of the WNBA season. These two just played on Saturday. The Storm won that one, 97-76. And you get that with only having 12 teams in the league. You see a lot of these like back-to-back rematches, and they only play 40 games throughout the season. So Seattle, after starting the season 1-3, has since gone 11-3 straight up and 10-4 to the number. And when they've won this season, they have covered in all but one of those victories. The Wings are just 4-14 on the year now. They are just 2-9 straight up, and they are 5-6 to the number on the road. The Wings kept things pretty even, though, with Seattle statistically. When you look over the numbers from Saturday's game, Seattle just edged them in basically every category, but specifically shooting percentages, assists, rebounds, they just had a little bit more than Dallas, right? So how did they win this game? By 21 points? Well, the answer there is a huge disparity from the free throw line. The Wings hit 6 of only 14 attempts for a 43% rate from the line, while the Storm shot 30 free throw attempts. They hit 28 of them. That's a 93% conversion rate. So while I don't expect that kind of discrepancy again from the line, I do expect Seattle to take care of business here at home in the rematch between these two. And while I do think Dallas can keep this one under 20, I'm not sure I trust them to cover this line still. When Seattle has won this season, they win big. They've won by an average of just under 14 points in each of their victories this year. And in fact, 9 straight wins now have been by double digits. Seattle is also winning the first half by an average of 8 points. So that first half laying 7 looks good as well, if that full game scares you. But I'm leaning Seattle here. Full game, I'm leaning them first half. I'm just leaning Seattle. There's no way in hell you're going to get me to back Dallas. It's just not going to happen. I don't care that they just beat Minnesota a couple days ago. And the WNBA is full of parity, but Dallas is still a step below everyone, and they are still battling injuries. So until either of these things change, man, you're not going to see me back in Dallas. I am leaning Seattle. And then I'm going to look at the over here as well. I'm leaning that way, but I don't trust Dallas's offense. So I would probably look at the Storm team total over. It's at 90.5 right now. The Dallas's defense has been torched left and right this season. They've given up a league-leading worst 87 points per game. And then Dallas has allowed 90 or more points in 7 of their last 11. And the Storm have eclipsed 90 in both the meetings with Dallas so far this year. I'm leaning the over, but more specifically, I'd be looking at that Storm team total over 90.5. All right, that's just about going to wrap us up here for another episode of Let 'Em Ride. I appreciate you guys tuning in. But before we get out of here, let's take a look at what we went over in the video today and which way that we are leaning. Because I'm looking at the Sun right now, the team total under 80.5. I'm looking at the Storm laying the 11 over the Wings, and then the Storm team total over 90.5. And these are all just leans currently. I have not placed any of these bets. So be sure to check down into that pinned comment later on. You can see if I do end up making any of these plays official. And then if I do, take a look at them, man. See if you'd like to ride along. Or maybe you think all these plays are just duds and you want to do the contrary. But whatever you decide to do, please throw that down in the comments for me so I can see where you guys' heads are at, see what you've cooked up as well. And we can chat about it. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you found the information helpful or useful. And if you did in any kind of way, please don't forget to smash the like button for me. And if you have not subscribed already, please do that way you don't miss out on any of the content that we are dropping daily. And hit share if you can. It is definitely appreciated. That's going to wrap us up here. I hope you guys have a great day. Best of luck tonight, and I will see you on the next video.